Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. We are also commemorating India's G20 presidency. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we have International Day of Living Together in Peace, which is commemorated every year on 16th May. Following the devastation of the Second World War, the United Nations was established to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. One of its purposes is to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems, including by promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. In 1997, the General Assembly proclaimed by its resolution 52/50 the year 2000 as the International Year for a Culture of Peace. In 1998, it proclaimed the period 2001 to 2010 as the International Decade for a Culture of Peace and Non-Violence for Children of the World. In 1999, the General Assembly adopted by resolution 52/243 the Declaration and Program of Action on Culture of Peace, which serves as a universal mandate for the international community, particularly the United Nations systems, to promote a culture of peace and non-violence that benefits all of humanity, including future generations. The declaration came about as a result of long-held and cherished concept contained with Constitution of UNESCO, that since wars began in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that defense of peace must be constructed. The declaration embraces the principle that peace is not merely the absence of a conflict, but also requires a positive, dynamic participatory process in which dialogue is encouraged and conflicts are resolved in a spirit of mutual understanding and cooperation. The declaration also recognizes that to fulfill such an aspiration, there is a need to eliminate all forms of discrimination and intolerance, including those based on race, color, sex, language, religion, political, or opinion, national, ethnic, or social origin, property, disability, birth, or other status. So, whatever may be the kind of discrimination, including which are not mentioned. So, united in differences and diversity, living together in peace is all about accepting differences and having the ability to listen, to recognize, respect, and appreciate others, as well as living in peaceful and united way. The UN General Assembly, in its Resolution 72 by 130, declared 16th May the International Day of Living Together in Peace as a means of regularly mobilizing the efforts of the international community to promote peace, tolerance, inclusion, understanding, and solidarity. The day aims to uphold the desire to live and act together, united in differences and diversity, in order to build a sustainable world of peace, solidarity, and harmony. The day invites countries to further promote reconciliation to help to ensure peace and sustainable development, including by working with communities, faith leaders, and other relevant actors through reconciliatory measures and acts of service, and by encouraging forgiveness and compassion among individuals. So we have relative commemorations like International Day of Peace, International Day for Tolerance, Human Rights Day, International Year for the Rapprochement of Cultures, World Interfaith Harmony Week, International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development, along with various sustainable development goals which are in line with these concepts. And saving future generations from the scourge of war was the main motivation for creating the United Nations, whose founders lived through the devastation of the two world wars. Since its creation, the UN has often been called upon to prevent disputes from escalating into war or to help restore peace following the outbreak of armed conflict and to promote lasting peace in societies emerging from the wars. Today is also commemorated as International Day of Light by UNESCO on 16th May. The study of light has led to promising alternative energy sources, life-saving medical advances in diagnostics, technology, and treatments, light-speed internet, and many other discoveries that have revolutionized society and shaped our understanding of the universe. These technologies were developed through centuries of fundamental research on the properties of light, starting with Ahmad's seminal work, Kitab al-Manzir Book of Optics, published in 1015, and including Einstein's work at the beginning of 20th century, which changed the way we think about the time and light in the West. In India, we have our ancient sages who have talked about time and about the time travel and the light and light sources of light and various aspects of light. Even we have even we have light as a source of life, life as an energy, light as an invocation or initiation for anything we take up in our lives. So the International Day of Light is celebrated on 16th March each year. The anniversary of first successful operation of the laser in 1960 by physicist and engineer Theodore Feynman. This day is called to strengthen scientific cooperation and harness its potential to foster peace and sustainable development. Without light, our planet would be but a cold and barren place. Indeed, where there is light, there is often an abundance of light. Yet, light represents even more for humanity. Light goes hand in hand with knowledge. It is a lens through which we see and understand the world. So the International Day of Light celebrate the role plays in science, the role light plays in science, culture, and art, education, and sustainable development, and also in fields of diverse as medicine, communications, and energy. And the celebration will allow many different sectors of the society worldwide to participate in activities that demonstrates how science, technology, art, and culture can help achieve the goals of UNESCO, building the foundation for peaceful societies. So the International Day of Light, as mentioned, will be held on May 16th every year, the anniversary of first successful operation of the laser in 1960 by physician and engineer Mayman. The laser is a perfect example of how a scientific discovery can yield revolutionary benefits to society in communications, healthcare, and many other fields. For interest, light is not just about lasers and science. It also includes aspects of art, culture, entertainment. Everywhere, light is present in fact. 55 years ago, now almost 60, 63, 65 years ago, one of the most important versatile scientific instruments of all time was invented. It was on 16th May 1960, the North American physicist and engineer Mayman obtained the first laser emissions. The date is therefore of great importance not only for those who carry out research in the field of optics and other scientific fields, but for the general public who use laser devices in their daily lives, like CD, DVD, Blu-ray players, laser printers, barcode readers, fiber optic communication systems that connect to the World Wide Web and Internet are just a few of many examples of laser applications in our daily life. Lasers also have a range of important biomedical applications. For example, they are used to correct myopia, treat certain tumors, and even whiten teeth, not to mention the beauty clinics that continually bombard us with advertisements for laser depilation, which has become a popular nowadays. However, the laser is of great importance not only due to its numerous scientific and commercial applications, or the fact that it is an essential tool in various state-of-the-art technologies, but also because it was a key factor in the boom experienced by the optics in the second half of the last century. Around 1950, optics was considered many to be a scientific discipline with a great past, but not much of future. At that time, the most prestigious journals were full of scientific papers from other branch of physics. However, this situation changed dramatically thanks to the laser, which led to the rigorous development of the optics. It is indisputable that the laser triggered a spectacular reactivation in numerous areas of optics and gave rise to others such as optoelectronics, nonlinear optics, or optical communications. So what is basically a laser? It is a device capable of generating a light beam of a much greater intensity that emitted by any other type of light source. Moreover, it is the property of a coherence which ordinary light beams usually lack. The angular dispersion of a laser beam is also much smaller. So when a laser ray is emitted and dispersed by surrounding dust particles, it is seen as a narrow straight line beam. But let us leave to one side the specialized technical points most suitable to other types of publications and concentrate on aspects of the invention of the laser which are no less important and no doubt of greater interest to the general public. The word laser is actually an acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation and was coined in 1957 by the American physicist Gordon Gould, working for the private company Technical Research Group, who changed the M of the maser for the L of laser. Some rough calculations on the feasibility of a laser light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation may be seen. The origins of the development of the laser was found in a paper by Albert Einstein on stimulated emission of radiation in 1960. Strahlung's emission and absorption matched their quantum theories, emission and absorption of radiation in quantum theory. But it was an article published on 15th December 1958 by two physicists, Charles Townes, who died on 27th January of this year at the age of 99, that is in 2015, and Arthur Chowlo, titled Infrared and Optical Masters, that laid theoretical basis enabling Mayman to build the first laser at the Hughes Research Laboratories, HRL, in Malibu, California in 1960. Mayman used as a gain medium a synthetic ruby crystal rod, 1 centimeter long with mirrors on both ends, and so created the first ever active optical resonator. It is probably not general knowledge that the Hughes Research Laboratories was a private research company founded in 1948 by Howard Hughes, eccentric millionaire, aviator, self-taught engineer, Hollywood producer, and entrepreneur, played by Leonardo DiCaprio in the film The Aviator, directed by the Martin Scorsese in 2004. The executives of the Hughes Research Laboratories gave Mayman a deadline of 9 months, $50,000, and an assistant to obtain the first laser emission. Mayman was going on to use a movie projector lamp to optically excite the gain medium, but it was his assistant, Ernie D. Hannes, who had the idea of illuminating the ruby crystal with a photographic flash. So when he obtained the first laser emission, Mayman submitted a short article to the prestigious physics journal at the Physical Review. However, it was rejected by the editors, who said that the journal had a backlog of articles on masers, antecedent of the laser in the microwave region, and so decided not to accept any more articles on the topic since they did not merit prompt publication. Mayman then sent his article to the prestigious British journal Nature, which is even more particular than the Physical Review. However, it was accepted for publication and saw the light, excuse the pun, on 6th August 1960 in the section Letters to the Nature under the title Stimulated Optical Radiation in Ruby, with Mayman and its sole author. The article, which ran to barely 300 words and took up a space of just over a column, may well be the shortest specialized article on such an important scientific development ever published. In a book published to celebrate the centenary of journal Nature, Townes described Mayman's article as the most important foreword of any wonderful papers that this prestigious journal has published in its 100 years of existence. After Mayman's article was officially accepted by Nature, the Hughes Laboratory announced the first working laser has been built in their company and also called a press conference in Manhattan on 7 July 1960. In a very short time, the laser stopped being a simple curiosity and became an almost unending source of new scientific advances and technological developments of a great significance. In fact, the first commercial laser came on the market barely a year later in 1961. In the same year, the first knee lasers, probably the most well-known and widely used lasers ever since, were commercialized. In these years, between 1960 and 1970, early years, none of the researchers working in the developing laser, the majority in laboratories of private companies such as Hughes, IBM, General Electric, or Bell, could have imagined to what extent lasers would transform not only science and technology, but also our daily life over the subsequent 65 years. The science and technology of light play an important role in development and positive evolution of societies that are essential for maintaining our expanding connectivity to one another. Photonics provides practical and cost-effective solutions to meet global challenges in energy production, sustainable development, and healthcare, and align well with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to end poverty, fight inequality and justice, and take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Photonics connects the citizens of the world through the internet and communication networks and is a vital enabler for business and education. These networks also support accountability to ensure peace, justice, and stronger legal institutions. Optical technologies play a key role in medicine, from simple diagnosis and monitoring to advanced treatment options and research. Remote sensing technologies provide the development of sustainable agriculture to fight hunger and to protect life on land and in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Modern lighting provides important opportunities to improve quality of life with efficient and green solutions, and light-based technologies are critical for monitoring and predicting climate change. So even in terms different ways, light sciences and technologies help addressing the different sustainable development goals. And these importance of these goals also are reflected in fact, the colors of 17 goals in the UN logo are reflected in the rays of a sun in the logo of International Day of Light itself. So the UN Sustainable Development Goals are an intergovernmental set of goals and targets developed by United Nations that cover a broad range of sustainable development issues. Light-based technologies can make a fundamental contribution to help accomplish these goals. Communicating these messages is a key important component of the International Day of Light. In the following, we discuss different ways light sciences and technologies can help address different sustainable goals. Goal number 1, no poverty. Goal number 2, zero hunger. Goal number 3, good health and well-being. The food and agriculture sector is essential to sustainable development. Indeed, ending hunger, ensuring food security, and promoting sustainable agriculture are key objectives of the sustainable development. Goal targets in many developing countries, agriculture is also backbone of economy and is a key for long-term and inclusive growth due to its strong multiplier impact on other sectors. Good health and well-being are also fundamental for the development of society. Light-based technologies can play an important role in improving agriculture and farming through the arena of agri-photonics. Lasers and imaging sensors on planes can be used to map soils and crop density, and reflectance data from vegetation can be used to determine very specific information, such as the amount of nitrogen present in plants. Lasers and telescopes can be used to monitor evaporation and guide decisions on irrigation, and with appropriate lighting, vegetables and fruits can be grown indoors outside of their normal season, opening up possibilities of year-round crop cultivation, even in hospitable regions. Optical technologies play a vital role, a key role in medicine, from simple diagnostics and monitoring to advanced treatment options and research. Photonics appears in a very simple and widespread devices. Clip-on pulse oximeters use the transmission of light from LED through a finger to measure oxygen saturation and heart rate, and skin thermometers use infrared light detectors to provide a safe and reliable measurement of body temperature. Imaging and surgery have revolutionized with the use of endoscopy, and laparoscopy and light-based technologies and lasers find important uses in many medical procedures, including neurosurgery, dermatology, dentistry, vision correction, heart surgery, and reconstructive procedures. So many light-based therapies have also proven effective for detecting and treating cancer. One example of a light-based technique to treat cancer is photodynamic therapy, where a patient is given a non-toxic photosensitive drug that is absorbed by cancer cells. During surgery, a light beam is positioned at the tumor site, which then activates the drug to become toxic to targeted malignant cells. Recent years have seen dramatic strides in the field of telemedicine. In general, the use of telecommunication and information technologies to provide access to the medical services that would often not be consistently available at a distance. The smartphone may well be showing the way towards the democratization of healthcare in developing countries. Another important issue faced around the world is that worldwide estimates of those who suffer from uncorrected defective eyesight range from hundreds of millions to over a billion adults and children. Far more than just an inconvenience, the world lack of eyeglasses to correct vision prohibits people from working and taking care of their families and has a negative effect of children's schooling and study. A number of NGOs and industries are actively working on complementary approaches to solve these problems. One approach uses fluid-filled lenses where a user can self-adjust the eyeglasses, allowing a very convenient way to select an appropriate correction. Another idea uses low-cost prefabricated lenses and a compact bending machine to create frames from spring steel and approach can also encourage the establishment of sustainable business, producing and selling these glasses in local communities. Coming to goal number 4, 5, and 10, quality education, gender equality, reduced inequalities. In addition to the use of light-based technologies to improve educational infrastructure, light science is an ideal subject to stimulate interest in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects in a classroom context. Teaching material based on light and optics is widely available and can be inexpensive and is perfectly suited to inquiry-based or active learning strategies which encourage students to construct the knowledge from their own observations. This is in contrast to the normal classroom scenario in which teacher lectures and the student passively observes as much information as they can, which by itself is known to be inadequate in developing correct conceptual understanding of the underlying physics. One of the major issues of our society is to achieve gender equality. In particular, there is a major concern in the scientific community, regardless of geographical location, to improve the gender balanced representation of scientists at all levels and promote greater involvement of underrepresented minorities in scientific and engineering careers. According to the UNESCO Science Report towards 2030, which represents a picture of global trends in global research and development based on a wealth of qualitative and quantitative data for the past 5 years, women constitute a minority in the research world. Globally, while women achieve parity at early stages of scientific careers, their participation diminishes with career progression, such as that women represent only 28.4% of the world's active researchers. And there are also very significant national and regional differences, with women playing nearly no role at all in science in some countries. The photonics community have tried to raise awareness of the issue on different levels, comprising initiatives trying to attract more female students to STEM careers, exhibitions to highlight the importance role that female scientists have on the development of photonics technologies, and awards for early career scientists on the field of photonics to give visibility to their achievements. The importance of communications for development is stressed by the UN Broadband Commission for Digital Development, who have recently started how access to mobile devices, phones, tablets, and e-readers with broadband internet connectivity can bring quality education to people everywhere, especially in the world's poorest or most isolated communities. Although it is technology such as fiber to the home, FTTH, that is being emphasized in many developed countries, it is mobile broadband that is perceived as the most practical solution for many developing countries. The International Telecommunications Union, ITU, reports that the mobile broadband is the fastest growing technology in the history. Mobile phone subscriptions now exceed the world's total population, and the active mobile broadband subscriptions exceed 2.1 billion. Significantly, most of the progress have taken place in the developing countries, which account for 82% of net additions of new internet users globally in the last 5 years. The UN Broadband Commission and the ITU are pushing hard to ensure that mobile broadband can fulfill its potential to improve education and development. Coming to goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. Water is essential to human health. Despite impressive gains made over last decades, billions worldwide still suffer from health problems due to lack of clean water. Although much progress has been made in the use of conventional treatment process, there is continuous need for the development of new and complementary technologies to produce high quality water, especially in developing areas. Photonics technologies can significantly help in this regard by improving both water quality assessment and access to clean sources of water. For instance, low-cost water treatment systems powered by solar panels can decompose organic pollutants in water, and solar-powered well pumping has proven to be a sustainable low-cost solution to provide drinking water and irrigation water in off-grid locations in drought-prone regions. Research is also ongoing into the development of LED-based portable systems for point-of-use purification. Coming to goal number 7 and 13, affordable clean energy and climate action. When one thinks of harnessing light-based technologies for sustainable development, renewable energy through solar power would likely be the first thing that came to mind for most people. After all, many developing countries have abundant solar energy sources. Insolation and the use of solar energy in ideally suited to providing an off-grid energy supply as a sustainable alternative to the diesel generators, which would otherwise be used. There remain many challenges to address, but research is advancing rapidly in the underlying physics and materials science, the development of storage technologies, and is optimizing and comparing the technologies of photovoltaics and solar thermal collection, closely coupled to the availability of energy in availability of lighting. With no reliable source of light, many people in developing communities depend on kerosene lamps for light, which may be estimated to lead to the death of over 1 million people every year. Providing clean, efficient forms of lighting to developed communities is not only important for health reasons, it is also vital for productivity. Families in rural communities rely on work to provide for the most basic needs of their family, but working hours can be limited due to scarce lighting after sunset. The majority of the children in developing countries are also expected to work during the day to help to provide for their family. With no or inadequate light at night, children are deprived of education. Although long-term solutions will require clear policies on renewable energy at the regional level, many industries and NGOs and other associations are working on the ground to promote the use of portable solar-powered high-brightness LED lanterns in regions where there is little or no other reliable sources of light. So developing countries are at the front line of human-induced climate change over the next century. According to the IPCC assessment report, throughout the 21st century, climate change is expected to lead to increases in health, in many regions, and especially in developing countries with low income. Rural areas are expected to experience major impacts on water availability and supply and food security, infrastructure, and agricultural incomes, including shifts in the production of areas of food and non-food crops around the world. Light-based technologies are critical for monitoring and predicting the consequences of climate change. They are extremely used to map radiation emitted from Earth's surface using radiometers, scanners, and sensors placed in satellites orbiting our planet. These measurements are transmitted to ground stations where the data is converted to images that provide information on ocean currents or global carbon dioxide distribution. So, in many ways, this invention and discovery of light has led to sustainable development. Light is also central to our understanding of science and development of technology. For centuries, the study of light and its properties have revolutionized every field of science, have involved all major figures of science from Hertham to Einstein. From gamma rays to radio waves, the spectrum of light provides insights, both far-ranging and near, from the origin of the universe to technologies that have shaped our society. For instance, advanced research in the areas such as nanophotonics, quantum optics, and ultra-fast science are inspiring new fundamental discoveries and opening new scientific frontiers. Light-based technologies and photonics directly respond to the needs of humankind by providing access to information, promoting sustainable development, and increasing well-being and standard of living. Photonics-enabled industries are major economic drivers, and many applications of photonics have transformed society through improved medicine, communications, and energy production. Photonics is ubiquitous in our daily lives, from technologies that improve vision and power the smartphone in our hands, to the state-of-art technologies that provide us with tools for space observation and fiber optics that help communicate via the internet. Photonics is poised to become the key enabling technology of the future. Light is an inspiring subject in many disciplines and in perfect catalyst to promote science education among young people. Teaching programs using light science and technology build worldwide educational capacity through activities targeting children, addressing issues of gender balances, and focusing especially on countries with emerging economies. The science and applications of the light tend themselves naturally to encouraging local innovation. Even in the environments with limited resources. Moreover, education in light and light-based technologies acts as a lever to encourage careers in science and engineering, as well as stimulating entrepreneurs. Light has influenced and continues to influence human culture. Studying the connection between light and culture throughout history provides a valuable insights into the interactions between the science, art, and humanities, and the brings greater understanding and appreciation of our cultural heritage. Light has a significant impact on the visual and performing arts, literature, human thinking. This theme provides an important bridge between the science and culture, and will aid in breaking down the boundaries between these fields. So this week is also commemorated as National Law Week in Australia to increase public knowledge of law and its role in society. Every year, the Law Society and its partners host a variety of events in Canberra to celebrate and engage the local legal profession, as well as to educate the general public on the function of attorneys in our society. It is also intended to assist Australians in understanding their rights, looking answers for their queries, learning about accessible resources, and understanding how the legal system operates. So running a National Law Week activity is a terrific opportunity to interact with your community while also providing essential and accessible knowledge. Lawyers originally settled in Canberra in the late 1920s and in 1933, when the economy recovered from the Great Depression, a small group of Canberra lawyers founded the Law Society of Territory for the seat of government. In 1940, the name was changed to Law Society of the Australian Capital Territory. Following a modest start, the post-World War II years were a time of rapid development, and particularly in 1960s was an expenditure or expedited move of the Commonwealth Public Service to Canberra. With the expansion of population and therefore the profession, arose the necessity for sophisticated with the expansion, the Commonwealth government passed the ACT Legal Practitioners Ordinance in 1970, which has been known as Legal Practitioners Act since self-government. The Act granted society broad authority to govern the legal profession in the territory. With Law Society and its partners, they launched National Law Week in almost all of the Australian region. National Law Week is a national campaign to raise public knowledge and understanding of the law, the legal system, and the legal profession. Courts, legal organizations, solicitors, barristers, police, and of course, public libraries are all urged to participate. It's a fantastic chance for you to spread the word about find legal answers, resources, and services in your neighborhood. Apart from that, we have many commemorations today, which are at the national level. So we'll quickly look at each one of them. Today is also commemorated as Drawing Day in US. So today we have so many modern tools to help us creatively, extremely realistic and artistic drawings, such as plain sketchbook and a pencil of tablet and stylus. During 1400s, drawings played an eminent role in religious books, which figured miniature drawings that were hand-drawn with gold and ink. Later, contemporary drawing styles have started becoming popular in Europe as paper had become readily available elsewhere. Renaissance artists became famous and ink was their favorite medium. On other mediums like colored chalks and charcoal were also used to add shading and bring out textures in their drawings. Today is also commemorated as National Biographies Day, May 16th. A biography is essentially a type of journal that features a written account of another person's life. Today is also commemorated National Do Something Good for Your Neighbor Day, to express gratitude to those who are closest to us. In fact, a neighbor is not merely the person who lives closest to you, but can be anyone with whom you can share a kinship. Therefore, your colleagues, friends, or fellow commuters also qualify as your neighbors. When we get too caught up in our busy lives, we forget how much fun is to hang out with our neighbors and have a good chat with them. Today is also commemorated as National Honor Our LGBT Elders Day, a time to pay tribute to those who have paved the way for the LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community to obtain and continue to seek important legislation and rights. We have numerous elders to thank for the strides made over the last several decades towards equality. As with other rights movements, their work has not been easy. Their struggles and the victories are marked by courage, persistence, compassion, and authenticity. So today we celebrate them. Today is also commemorated as National Love a Tree Day. As it falls today, May 16th, falls right in the middle of a garden for Wildlife Month. Before trees, our earth had fungi that grew 26 feet tall and resembled trees. Trees have played an irreplaceable role in the smooth functioning of our environment, and celebrating a special day for dedicated team is at least we can do. Today is also commemorated as National Piercing Day. It is a fun observance that focuses on the art of uh, piercings and its intriguing history. Today is also commemorated as National Sea Monkey. Since these sea monkeys were created in a lab many years ago, but since they have become a common household pet, many of us have happy memories of awaiting the delivery of our first sea monkeys in the mail. They are really popular with children and adults alike. And at one point, they are even heavily marketed by coffee books. Sea monkeys were initially sold under the name of Instant Life and later given the name sea monkeys owing to the fact that they have monkey tail-like shape, making them resemble monkeys of the sea rather than shrimps. They were very popular pet from the 60s onwards, and they usually come with a special mini aquarium that was used to hatch them and for them to live and grow in. These small creatures have gained much popularity over the years and used and even found a name in pop culture. They have been showcased in television shows including South Park, The Simpsons, and The Desperate Housewives. Today is also commemorated National Stop Nausea Day in the United States. Today is also commemorated National Wear Purple for Peace Day in the US to promote peace, but in extraordinary practice to entice aliens to visit Earth due to its powerful stage, peaceful state. There is also being commemorated as a Ride a Unicycle Day in US. It is a fun holiday meant to encourage more people to try the unicycle, an unconventional means of transportation. It is a ground vehicle that moves using only one wheel. Unicycles are usually developed, used professionally by performers in circuses or festivals. Unicycles are used in sports such as unicycle hockey. They are also being used in activities similar to mountain biking or trials called mountain unicycling. Ride a unicycle day gets more people to learn about the ride of this 1 week vehicle. Today is also commemorated as Sex Differences in Health Awareness Day in US. The day was set to remind the public and medical professionals about the different health issues and that affect men and women differently, and to spare And finally, today is Supply Chain Professionals Day. To appreciate all the work supply chain professionals do to deliver everything we need every day. The Council of Supply Chain Management of So with this, we shall end the commemoration today here. So thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the overall feedback form and submit. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form which has been raised in the form of polls. It is mandatory. And those who have not registered, the registration link has been shared in chat box. We request everyone to register and also provide feedback daily for each session on each day. So before leaving, quickly fill up the feedback form. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night.